gonna choose? Who's gonna lose? What's it gonna prove? Who will be bruised? Who you gonna choose? Who's gonna...
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Lore Reloaded. I am your wondrous lore master today, James. It is always a pleasure to see you guys. Hey, as always, press 1 in that chat to make sure that I sound good. I will, of course, also be listening to myself as well to see how it goes. And it'll just take me a brief moment to figure it out. The Lore Reloaded. Sound good. There we go. Hey, as you always are going to hear, check me at twitch.tv. Yeah, twitch.tv/Lore Reloaded to watch me play games. I lie and say I'm going back there, and I truly believe that one day I might actually. Also, more important, twitter.com/Lore Reloaded. All kinds of fun things going on there. And I'll even talk to you about anything you want to talk about, including politics. With that out of the way, let's say hi to a couple people. We got Thomas Potts up in the house. Captain Jesse, never a true party until 100% American Buffalo comes. Captain Jesse 1. Brian McRudden says, I love it, but to be honest, I can't wait. It will bring the darkest but most true storyline, talking about Star Trek Discovery. Can I get an F in the chat for Brian McRudden? It is horrible to hear that he has suffered brain damage. So if everyone can do an F just to, kind of give consolence for him, because we don't like it when fellow fans get hurt. We also have Vile Mike. What's going on with you, sir? Let's just get into it. Let's just break it down. Today we're going to be talking about Star Trek Discovery. We're going to be talking about the short treks and anything you guys want to talk about. I have two different articles that I haven't read, but I've been told that I should. So if you guys want to, we can definitely get into that and go through the articles. Or if you guys have an article you want me to read and it is appropriate, then definitely go ahead and send it to james@lorereloaded.com. So, breaking down Star Trek Discovery, or just discussing it, I'll be honest with you guys, I'm always getting in trouble, and people are always getting mad with me because I'm sincerely somewhat in the middle. I want Star Trek Discovery to do well. I want Star Trek Discovery to be some of the best Trek we've seen. And it's possible that it will be, because the first season of Enterprise sucked. The first season of DS9 was lackluster. Voyager really didn't go anywhere. Enterprise is a train wreck. So the first season always seems to be pretty bad. I would say that Star Trek Discovery is probably the worst, because it has all of the failings of the other first seasons, but then you take into account that they don't care about continuity, they don't care about the nostalgia, and they also go out of their way to push politics to an unreasonable degree. Now, before anybody comments, yes, I know, Star Trek has always had politics and it's always been left-leaning. But to the degree that we see it here, I don't think so. Also, I hope that Brian knows I'm messing with him. If you've been in the channel for any length of time, I'm just joking. If you actually enjoy it and you think Star Trek Discovery is great and it's going to take it to the next level for you, that's cool. I'm happy for you. I don't agree, but I'm not going to jump in the way of somebody who enjoys it. We kind of discussed this beforehand. So we see a mock D7. A modified D7, let's say. We see them trying to take the Klingons closer to what the Klingons looked like beforehand. Unless they're going to do a reset and a retcon of Season 1, I don't really see or know how they're going to have it make sense. Because literally Season 1, not the figurative literal, literally breaks all of canon. Specifically when it comes into the natural evolution of ships and biology for the Klingons, and for the attitude and tone of the original series. So maybe they're going to be able to do it without a reset. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe they're just going to ignore it. That said, I have a bias against it. I'm going to go into it with a negative bias that I'm going to try to fight. but maybe they're going to be able to pull it off. I just don't see how they are. So with that out of the way, I'd love to know what your guys' opinions are, where you're going with it. Even if, like Brian, because Brian said he's been in the chat before, so he knows how this works. Even if you like it, I don't see and I don't agree with how it's going or the way it's going. Now, there was one that caught my attention that people have sent to me, because people send me articles because they know I get all kinds of upset about it and start screaming on channel, so that's why they send them to me, I'm absolutely sure. But this from TrekMovie.com. Wrong one. This one's still from TrekMovie.com. Mary Wiseman says her Short Treks episode is a classic Star Trek morality story. The short trek she did is a classic Star Trek morality story. I'm not convinced. So when I think of moral arguments, a classic morality story, I think of Measure of a Man, where we discuss, is Data actually sentient? I think of The Best of Both Worlds, where you have Riker having to decide if he's going to kill Picard, how he has to come to realization that Picard doesn't exist anymore and he's going to need to destroy Picard. I think of, honestly, I think of Voyager and the look of holograms. I think of several episodes in the original series. I think of Enterprise, Tin Man. Yeah, and I was trying to think of the name of the episode, but Andro Fall, like the TOS one, where you had two people with black and white on either side, just reversed, right? I think of Deep Space Nine and the Dominion War. I think of In the Pale Moonlight, when we're discussing Star Trek morality. That's what I think. That's what I think classic Trek morality is. Now, Mary Wiseman, the actress who plays Tilly, states, hey, this short trek that I just did is classic morality like those. So let's see what the article says. And go with there. Nathan Norman says they've done it wrong. They needed to show us why the change happened from Enterprise to Discovery. They should have mentioned that the Klingons have been tampering with their genetics. Yeah, with that, I could understand. I mean, maybe they'll go back into it. Maybe this was setting the scene. This was showing something new. It was subverting expectations, and then they're going to circle around and make it all make sense. Maybe. By the way, if you guys are watching, 60 people watching now, only 13 thumbs up. Also, I do consider myself middle of the line to negative towards Star Trek Discovery, whereas I think Doomcock is solely against Star Trek Discovery. I have put out a challenge for him to come on the charity I'm doing November 3rd to raise money for kids, for us to have a conversation and a debate. If you're on Twitter, please do @Doomcock and ask him if he's going to come on and have a conversation with Lore Reloaded. He has not answered yet, and I think that if we get enough people pinging him, he will. But let's jump into this. Let's just get into it. All right, here we go. This is done on October 3rd, 2018 by TrekMovie.com staff. Apparently they don't put their names on it. All right. Thursday night, the first episode of Star Trek Short Treks will be made available on CBS All Access. Most of us have seen that. I've done a review of it. Check the channel if you want to see my review. The Runaway short will focus on the character of Tilly, and actress Mary Wiseman spoke to comicbook.com about the episodes, contrasting it to her work on Discovery. This is Mary talking. I don't think that Tilly's ever really had to face a crisis on her own, so that was really a nice thing to get to do and get to explore for the character. I don't know that I would agree with that. I think maybe she had... I don't know that I'd agree with that. I'd have to rethink all of Season 1 Discovery. I think she had a lot of trials and tribulations that she had to work on herself. Did she have to do them alone? I don't know. Also, you know, I would agree that she is facing a crisis. I would agree there. I don't think she handled it well. So I don't know. I don't know. Let's continue. Wiseman also discussed The Runaway has a classic Star Trek feel in terms of its theme. Let's see. You used to get these kinds of one-time adventures with the main character who gets into trouble, and that is very much what it's like. It was super fun for me, and the morality play aspect of it, Star Trek has such a long and proud legacy of that, and that's one of the things about that, presenting a situation and turning it on its head. I agree that Star Trek is known for having good morality episodes. I agree that generally it's been episodic. You see that in the original series, The Next Generation. They stopped doing it in Deep Space Nine. They did do it in Voyager. But presenting a situation and turning it on. I don't know how they presented a situation and turned it on its head. At the end of the short track, there's a twist where you find out that this runaway is actually going to be the queen, which makes none of the rest of the episode make sense, by the by. And you find out Tilly may be into women. But beyond that, there's nothing turned on its head. Continuing with what she was saying. So that was really nice. And as always, Tilly's kind of exploring, as everyone is, exploring the set in stone rules of what you're supposed to do as a Starfleet officer, or obviously in the command training program, and then the intention and heart of those ideals, and how you live with that, and so the real heart of the matter, what it really does means to be Starfleet, not just what it feels like the protocol says you should do. Okay. So, let's deconstruct that for a minute. The Next Generation, towards the light side, towards the good side, towards the Gene Roddenberry side, let's say. The Next Generation, I think, did that as well. That there is a discussion, a debate between protocol, what the policy tells you to do, and what the right thing to do, the spirit of the law. And they did that a lot with Picard. Measure of Man, when Picard refused to give away Data's child. When Data goes before Picard because he hadn't listened to him during the Klingon Civil War. And Data said, I should be reprimanded because I didn't listen to your command. Even though what I did was right, I did not listen to your command. And Picard says, you did the exact right thing. People have done horrific things in the name of just following orders. So while doing this might not have been what protocol said, the spirit of the law. So I agree with that. The Next Generation did that well. They did it towards Gene Roddenberry's side, right? And Deep Space Nine did it too. I think it went darker. I think it went anti-Gene, if you ask me. In the Pale Moonlight, went against all kinds of protocols, even though Starfleet Command agreed and actually endorsed everything. It still was probably the right thing to do. And there are other instances where you have, with Bashir and others, that don't follow protocol and they do it for the right reason. So, and even Voyager, I think, where they didn't follow protocol, but it was the right thing to do. Unless you're Janeway, and then you follow the Prime Directive only if it gets people killed, and then you don't follow it as long as it still gets people killed. But, that's neither here nor there. So, I don't disagree with her there, but she says that she now puts it on the short trek, the one that she did. Now, if you're watching the short trek, you know that basically what happens is this alien sneaks on board. She finds this alien. She realizes this alien is on the run, and Starfleet Command and the government of the alien really wants this person alive. She doesn't tell Starfleet Command. She talks through, has a personal moment, talks this alien into returning home, finds out that this alien is the queen, talks about how beautiful she is, and then returns her home. Which, by the way, makes no sense. That in no way compares to Measure of a Man. She didn't follow protocol by letting the bridge know, by calling security. She didn't follow protocol at all. And nothing good from it happened. She didn't follow protocol not because they were chasing this person. We don't find out that this person was on the run and she was wrongly accused. Now this person, someone might argue, because this alien says, well, they're going to use my technology to hurt the planet. That's a good point. That's morality. Except we find out that this person is the queen and can decide if they use the technology or not. So all the morality's gone because the person, the alien, whatever the hell her name is, got to choose it. So is it on par? Absolutely not. You should have made her... Here's what you should have won. If you wanted to make it morality, if you wanted to do this right, don't make her the queen. Make this a scientist who discovered something, is on the run, and make it the whole... and Laughable Larry, thank you so much, guys. Super Chats is how I keep the lights on, feed my kids. I'll read in just a second, but let me finish this. So, you know, have it be the recrystallization of dilithium, even though in the original series says we can't do that. Have it be that. And she's on the run because it'll destroy the planet. And so now Tilly has a decision. Because Starfleet wants her back, the alien government wants her back, Tilly can either bring her back and introduce a technology that would infinitely help everyone and make it so warp is just, it's like infinite now. Or she lets her go and the technology could be considered lost forever. That's a morality. I might get mad, I might get pissed off saying Tilly made the wrong decision, but that's a morality discussion. It takes it all away once you make this person the queen. I'd be interested in your guys' thought. Laughable Larry says, you're amazing, man. Thank you so much. You're amazing. You're awesome. Jamie H says, nothing to add except you're sexy as F. Well, you're sexy, Jamie H. You're probably the sexiest person ever known. /dash says, you're funny, Larry. Why is that funny? That's not funny. But I appreciate /dash giving 79 cents. Thank you so much. Commands are made, but it's not always moral, says Brian. I would agree with that. Patrick Davis Jr. Most of the writers and producers of Star Trek Next Generation, Voyager, Deep Space Nine, even the Enterprise one, mostly started to fall away from the Gene Roddenberry style of morals and ethics. I would agree with that as well. Wouldn't the ability to recrystallize help save her planet? I forget. Maybe, and I could be wrong on that, maybe the technology did save her planet, but somehow they were harming her planet to get there or something. That was the point of it. She was on the run because she didn't want her planet to be harmed. And recrystallizing dilithium in some way hurt the planet or something like that. And that's what I'm saying. It makes no sense. She's the queen. She can just stop it anyway. So my point is that if we're going to do this, why don't we... Why don't you make her a scientist? Or still make her a queen, but have it like a democratically elected monarchy where she has no choice. Once she becomes queen, her technology is going to be used and she can't stop it. So she's still on the run. But there's nothing like that. There's nothing that happens. It's not moral. There's no moral question here. You could say it is a review of Tilly, a character development, but it's just not done well. It's a rehash of season 1 that did it infinitely better. Yeah, and you won't watch any. You're not going to watch any of this until you're a little bit older. Unfortunately, Star Trek Discovery is not is not appropriate for people of your age. Constitutional monarchy. Thank you, Terry. I am aware of your status of being an 8-year-old. All right. So what do you guys think? Let me know your opinions on it. I just don't see it as a moral quandary for her. You could make the argument, perhaps at the time. By the way, Thomas... you can make the argument, perhaps at the time, that it, before she found out, maybe it was moral? I don't know. Thomas Potts trying to start a fight and getting people to downvote this stream by helping me out with Super Chat. Thank you so much. You're welcome to do that anytime. Tilly kind of did a Dr. Franklin, not helping her own people. The problem with Dr. Franklin, people get so confused about this. The problem with Dr. Franklin is not that... The problem with Dr. Franklin is that there was no other option, and he chose not his species. In this instance, there are plenty of other options, and it's not going to result in anybody being dead, so I don't think it's comparable. People always try to bring up this Germany Oh, so you agree with the Nazis BS. No, you can defeat the Nazis. You can. That's what we did. In fact, you should go back in history. It's probably a defining moment in human history, I would say, when the Allies defeated the Germans, because we actually had a chance of defeating the Germans and the Japanese. So it's not comparable to that at all. And I'm sorry to go on a tangent here, but you know, I don't think she pulled a Dr. Franklin. Dr. Franklin is very special. I don't believe there was not any other option. And that's the only reason I think Franklin made the wrong decision, by the way. And I guess I should do a live stream so we can sit here and argue about this and you guys see me yell at the screen all the time. Jay Wiggs, from the Star Trek Discovery trailer and Short Trek Season 2 looks like another dumpster fire. It's hard to get hopes up because of all the fake outs from Season 1. I do not at any point, I don't at any point think there is, I agree that there's nothing really there promising for me. I agree with that. And Season 1 was such a bad example and they lied, so I'm not going to believe them. I'm going to have to watch it for myself. Let's see. Discovery is irrelevant. The drive didn't work. They were just tripping on shrooms and it was all a mistake. I mean, if they all woke up from a dream, if it was like a fevered... Season 1 was a fevered pitch dream from Burnham. I don't know how I'd feel about that, but at least they corrected the timeline. Brian, I think if you look at it from the planet's point of view only, it can be seen as moral. We as viewers see it only from the bird's eye view. What would you do? I don't see how we see it moral in any way. You have a queen who runs... Apparently, we don't know how she got on the Discovery. That makes no sense. She runs from her planet. She's going to be queen. She doesn't want to hurt her planet. She thinks that they're going to hurt her planet, and we find out that she's the queen and can decide whether they hurt her planet or not. So I don't know where to go with that. You know. Nathan Norman, Franklin was foolish. He knew that the Minbari were going to try and genocide the humans, and he wanted to keep the moral high ground. You know, here's the thing. I think Franklin made the wrong decision. I do think he's a traitor and should be shot. But I have strong feelings about this, but I can understand why someone would disagree with that. I just highly disagree with it. I can understand where people would come from, and they would say, hey, this, you know, let's not do this. This could be a bad thing. You know, and, you know, and let me say this, and I know I'm getting off topic, and you guys like getting me off topic. Franklin, the TV series Franklin is my favorite character. He is the best character, Babylon 5 TV series, hands down. I like almost everything about the character. And I love the arc he goes through. In the movie series, in the beginning, not the other movies, but in the beginning, the movie, he's a traitor and should never have been on Babylon 5 TV series, in my opinion. Laughable Larry, are you looking forward to the Picard series? Absolutely not. They are using the exact same writers that they used on Star Trek Discovery. I think it is going to be more of the same. So I'm not looking forward to that at all. Hey, you can talk for a minute, and then you gotta go, okay?
Okay. Well, I watched some Star Wars when my favorite, my favorite series of Star Wars was the first one, and Dad has a lot of statues.
I do have a lot of statues. All right, well, maybe we'll get on and we'll talk about the Star Wars we like in a couple of days, okay?
Yeah.
All right, go play.
And we'll have a thing of how many statues she has, because you have too many.
I have too many statues, she says. She's talking about my models. But yeah. Franklin was a hero, says Laughable Larry. Okay, whatever. Hey, Lore Reloaded. I've not watched the series, says Jackson Kennedy. Would you say it's worth watching because it's Star Trek or because it's good, both or neither? I would not... Don't pay CBS. Don't pay... What the hell just happened? Don't pay CBS because don't pay CBS to watch any of the short tracks. If you want to watch the short tracks and the series, then you can. But don't watch short tracks because don't get it to watch a short track. Do not do that. Is it worth seeing? I personally don't think so. I don't think that Discovery is worthy to have money paid for it. I would say that if you're a really huge Star Trek fan, if you just love Star Trek as much as I did, then it's worth paying for it and then watching as much as you can for the first month to see if it's worth your time. I would only suggest it if you are I wouldn't even say diehard, but a committed Star Trek fan. The thumbnail shows Cadet Tilly, not Ensign Tilly. The thumbnail also says Tilly exposed, pointing to the armband with a circle around it, having nothing to do with anything, because I've recently watched Drew Gooden, and I'm mocking those channels that circle things that don't have anything and have an arrow pointing at them. There's a lot going on with that. It is meant to be sarcasm and a joke, Anthony D. It is meant to be that. She's too cute to be your daughter. You should have a word with the mailman, says /.-121. Well, to be fair, she has the eye color of the mailman, of her mother. Yeah.
Yeah, you're the only green person in the...
That is true. All my daughters and my...
What?
Nope.
My mother?
Yeah, your mother has blue eyes, whereas I have hazel. Hazel's a dominant color, too. All right, go, babe.
Bye-bye.
Go. Love talking real life with 8-year-olds. All right. CBS All Access has other shows. Yeah, but they don't have any shows that's worth anything. Thomas Potts. They don't have other shows that are really necessarily worth anything. And again, if you're in it for Star Trek, I don't think that you should watch it. I honestly just don't. Unless you just absolutely are committed to Star Trek, you want to see everything that is Star Trek. Going back to Picard as well, I don't really have a lot of hope. I think Picard, people aren't going to like this, and I'm about to make a lot of people mad. Sir Patrick Stewart hasn't had any real good acting roles in a while, and that came up, and they were talking about that. Also, Sir Patrick Stewart is pretty left-leaning and hasn't liked a lot of the responses that some of the more conservative elements have. And so I don't think it's going to be what everyone's thinking it is. I don't think he's the savior. I think it's going to be more of the same, especially since it shows a picture of him with the writers who did Star Trek Discovery. I don't know if that's forced or if that's what he was choosing. So I don't specifically know where or how to really go with that, you know? So I'm not really all that excited about it, you know? So, that's my opinion. The thing that irks me about Discovery is that the first season is during a war, but aside from the 2 episodes, it was a drama with the occasional phaser fire. I think they really missed the ball when they didn't show the war. It was really days of our lives with this war in the background that we're told about it, but we never see it. Deep Space Nine, we not only see the war, but we see the impacts it has on the people. I don't really even feel that we see the impacts that it has on the people itself. So, I don't know. I was watching Neil Mitchell. I was watching something the other day where they said that even though it's going to be Picard, it will be in another timeline, not continuing on from the TNG era. I've heard the exact opposite. I've heard it's going to be in-universe. I'm really Laughable Larry again helping out the channel. I'm really afraid of them ruining Picard's character and tarnishing his imagine. I think you mean image. Yeah, it's going to go the Star Wars route, I think. I think they're going to change, irrevocably change. So I don't think there's going to be a lot that we can do with that. Have you heard any other TNG actors coming back too? I have not heard of any TNG actors. So let's see. Let's continue on with this. They have the spoiler-free review. No, I don't want to watch no darn spoiler-free review. I have no interest in spoiler-free reviews. I love you too, beautiful. Yeah, that's about it on that. I mean, if you guys have any specific ones you would like me to see or read, any articles, let me know. But it's not classic morality Trek, obviously. Discovery, I think. So let's pull it all back for a second. Let's take a look at let's remove, because what happened to me when Discovery went full downhill, when Discovery went all the way down, was after they went stupid with the anti-Trump rhetoric dialed to 1,000. I think that's where they went wrong. I'm not necessarily against anti-Trump rhetoric, just dialing it to 1,000. And so, if they had removed that, it's tolerable. I still don't think it's Star Trek. One more time and then, okay, it'll play. I still don't think that it was going to be great or anything. I think the beginning of Star Trek Discovery was meh. It was a sci-fi with a Trek skin. Middle got better when they got on the planet that had the Citations or whatever that they were going to use to discover the stealth screens or whatever they called it. That was all right. Mirror Universe was really good until they got too stupid with the politics. And then they just kept getting stupid with the politics. And then they were the We Are Starfleet BS, which doesn't even make any sense. And so, you know, it slowly creeps up. It gets you excited. And then it just goes straight down. If they had removed that, rewritten the We Are Starfleet, it could have been, I think, passable. But they're doing more of the same. They're not improving in any way. Functional, talking about the Picard. I think it could be Picard being Picard in the Gamma Quadrant, discovering new races, planets, and such, but would be hoping for too much from JJ Trek. I don't think classic, The Next Generation exploring is going to get ratings. And if they do that, I think they're silly because they're not going to get ratings. I don't think The Next Generation first couple of seasons was pretty poor. And a lot of that was simply trying to discover. I just don't think people want to go out and discover anymore. I think they want some form of conflict. I think that's what our culture wants now. And that's what they're going to have to do if they want to make money. Now, that's my opinion. I could be wrong. But, you know, I don't know. What anti-Trump rhetoric, really, the great Geek speak, what anti-Trump rhetoric, why can't I say that word, was there? Besides that comment before the series. Sometimes I think putting that on Discovery is just value saying, hey, Lorelai, can you go downstairs for 5 or 6 minutes? Child number 1, go downstairs. Please, go play in your room. You can come back up in a minute or two. All right, go. You are a zombie, you say. All right, go downstairs. Sorry, just closing the door. All right. All right, so the great Geeksby. Let's not, we're going to address the sentiment and not necessarily you. So this isn't a response to you. This is a response to that mentality. So, let's go. What anti-Trump rhetoric was there besides that comment before the series? They went out of their way to make the mirror universe, to make the Terran Empire to be like Trump's America as much as they could. And if they can't, you have the biggest blinders on the face of the planet that I have ever seen. Seriously, can I please purchase from your drug dealer? Because apparently he has the best stuff. Besides that comment, let's talk about Lorca for a second, who is being the portrayal as Trump, and what his specific ideals were. So the Empress, right? The Empress themselves. This was a chick who destroyed Kronos. She put entire ships around Kronos, wouldn't let them escape, and turned that planet into molten rock. She eats Kelpians. What she'll do is she'll breed them, and then she will have people choose which Kelpian they like, and then eat them. She believes, in every respect, how inferior non-humans are. Now let's look at Lorca's opinion on that. Lorca wants to make the Empire glorious again, because the writers are fucking stupid. You're telling me that Lorca is supposed to be reflective of Trump, and he doesn't like someone who eats Kelpian. Do you know how stupid that is? Do you realize how dumb that is? Now, here's where people get confused, my good friend. People will take that and say, oh, you must be a Trumper. You must be so conservative. You must love Trump. No, you see, this show, this specific piece divides our fandom. It divides our fandom unnecessarily. And when they could have used it to sway people against Trump, it creates a parody of Trump. It creates such a parody of Trump that it makes Trump seem reasonable. Trump is an anti-vaxxer. He believes vaccinations will cause the autism. Trump does a lot of stupid things. I could list the things I don't like Trump doing. He does some good things, but he does a lot of stupid things too. They make him seem reasonable. Because when you create a parody that is so off, people will just say, see what they're doing? He's more reasonable than that. Let's listen to him. So the anti-Trump rhetoric, the Terran Empire, specifically in every way, reflects what Trump America is. And if you can't see that, you're crazy. Not you, Great Geeksby, but anyone who thinks that. So maybe you. Sometimes I think putting that on Discovery is just value signaling. Now, get the fuck out of here if you're going to come to me and tell me I'm value signaling. I'm virtue signaling? Me. I'm the one virtually signaling. Have you ever seen Discovery? Have you ever watched 5 minutes of any... I tell you what, choose any episode and take 5 minutes out of it, and you will see virtue signaling from there. From wherever, whatever you want to watch. They push a pro-feminism, anti-white male agenda. Anti-Trump. Anti-military. Man, I mean, you could just go on and on and on with anti-conservative. I'm the one virtue signaling. Get the hell out of here. Stray Dog for $5. Politics needs to either be toned down or shown into a more positive light like in the Kirk era. I, in fact, disagree with that. Hear me out. You can actually argue against a position and still respect the people who believe the position you're arguing against and change their mind. They did it. They did it with LGBT. They did it with LGBT and TNG. They did it in Deep Space Nine. They did it with, speaking on military matters, pro-war versus anti-war. They did it talking about the morality of the Prime Directive. They did it on drugs. They did it on so many different political things, and they did it so well. Voyager did it well. Voyager! You can do it. You can, and I have talked about it 1,000 times. You want to say that the wall is awful and that Trump's immigration status, Trump's immigration policies are, let's not say racist, but anti-diversity. Fantastic. I don't know that I completely agree with that, but there is some truth, I think, to that. You can do that. You can make the Terran Empire that way and do it in a reasonable way and sway people's minds. I used to be a what's the word I'm looking for? Man, I used to be an I used to be such a Christian. I forget the word I'm looking for. Such a Christian that I would always say, hate the sin, love the sinner. But hey, if you're a homosexual, then you're doing it against God's work, and it's just in your mind. And Deep Space Nine and The Next Generation did not turn me from that, but they put the seeds in my mind to start to change it. That's what pisses me off, is that Discovery has a chance to bring great ideas and put seeds in people's minds, but they're more worried with virtue signaling than they are writing a good story that can have a political agenda or bias. Laughable Larry says, didn't Enterprise do the whole keep the aliens out in the final episode way before Trump? Isn't it the same thing? Yes, and while I think that is flawed, that is much better than what they did in Discovery. That is absolutely what is absolutely much better than what they did in Discovery. You have an individual who is running this cult who gets this mega death weapon, and he comes from an era where they would get rid of the undesirables. And they even have him talking about this, how in human history, they did things like this. They destroyed the undesirables, and the aliens are just going to be toxic, and they're just going to destroy everything. And so let's just get rid of all of them. Let's push them. Let's get them all the hell out of our country. And then they come back, and they show why that's wrong. Why that idea is wrong. Why we can't hang on to previous era beliefs. Was it perfect? I don't know. I don't think so. I think I would have rewritten it in a couple of places. But it's damn sure better than what they did with the Terran Empire and what they did before. Hot Wheels F, do you think they should have implemented the DS9 model? I do. I think DS9 did it infinitely better. Let's see. Wait, you're smart but believe in religion, Lord? Mike, get the hell off with that. First off, I don't talk about whether I believe or not. That's not relevant to this conversation. What I believe now is not relevant to what I believed then. Only to say I don't believe what I believed then. Whether I'm religious or not shouldn't... You have tons of smart people who are religious. You have tons of smart people who are not religious. It's simply answering a question on one specific question. Now, I think there's a lot more to... I'll agree there's a lot more to it and impacts things. But as long as we can believe what we want to believe and stay the hell out of everyone else's way, it doesn't matter what I believe. It doesn't matter what you believe. And smart people can be religious. That's just silly. The Grim Panda, wait, I'm confused because there's so many different areas of fiction or history where an individual ends up saying, I want to make an empire country great again. Example, Hitler, China, the Sith. Sure. But Hitler's opposite, right? He said, Churchill talked about making Britain great again, that he wanted to he said that history is written by the victors and he intends to write history. So, the good guys did it too. The Great Geek Spee. I'm no Trump fan. I'm a real black man versus the fake black men. This hypersensitivity with Trump is weird. No, see, that's where you're... I'm not sure what's confusing you, Great Geeksby. I don't mean this... I'm coming off because I'm passionate. I'm not mad. But I don't know what's confusing you, my good friend. This hypersensitivity with Trump is weird. No, the hypersensitivity is you took Star Trek Discovery, something that can change people's minds and is meant to bring people together, who's... When they came together, it was about bringing diversity. It was about bringing black people, white people, Asian people, whatever. It didn't matter. They all served on the same goddamn ship. And they were all, it was about the future of humanity and how we can all get together. So, something that, and you turn it into talking about how Trump is horrible and attacking half of your fan base and just dividing us. That's my problem. I don't have no hypersensitivity to Trump. You and me probably agree that Trump does a lot of stupid things. A lot of stupid things. But you know what? Every time a Discovery episode comes on, that is just like what they did in the Terran Empire. Every time you have every time TYT, the Young Turks, makes a video, you get one more, a new Trump supporter gets his wings. Your mentality, Great Geeksby, put Trump in office. Make no mistake. And will continue to with attitudes like that. Discovery is just another awful show playing on whatever is going on at the moment. That's my problem. That's my problem. It can be so much more. It can be an anti-Trump show and do it correctly. And again, Great Geeksby, I'm not mad at you. I'm just passionate about this because I love Star Trek. I love good fiction. Babylon 5 generally is good fiction. I think Babylon 5 does a great job of showing morality, right? Franklin. Let's look at Franklin. We talked about Franklin, right? Franklin decided to not give over his data, which may have saved the human race, right? And because of that, now we have a moral dilemma. I think that Franklin's a traitor. I think that he should be shot for what he did. Others think that he did the right thing because it stuck to his morals. Though what good are morals if we're all dead? But still, you see how that's a good conversation? Make the Empire glorious again against an empress who eats aliens and base Delta Zeros, or whatever the hell it's called for Star Wars, glasses planets, does not give a good moral consensus. You're creating a parody, and parodies can be disproven, and once you disprove the parody, the person that is bad can be made to look like a saint. And I guess my trouble is that, not a Hillary supporter, but I don't think Trump was a good idea. And I think that because of that, because what I perceive of why Trump was put into power, which was because of this toxic, if you're not with me, you're against me BS. Because I think that's what put him in power. I think that's why I get so passionate about it. Laughable Larry, I appreciate your honest opinions. Well, thank you so much. Nadia M. I honestly think our vision of what we think Star Trek should be does not have a place in today's television, sadly, for the ratings to keep it going. You may be right. You may be right. Maybe it can't be done. Maybe. The Young Turk Army, get the hell out of here, Don, please. Whoa. All right, why did we time him out? Why you gotta be timing him out? 100% American Buffalo. Let me see what was his deleted message. The Electoral College put Trump in office. Now you white dude tell me it's me. I can't stop laughing. It's you with sensitivity. Oh, you did the right thing. 100% American. Yep. I don't tolerate racists. All right. So way to go. 100% American Buffalo. Oh, hold on, guys. Hold on 1 second. Nobody go anywhere. Everyone stay here since we're talking about the Young Turk Army. 1 second, okay? Sorry, guys. Thanks so much. Yeah, I'm praying, Mike. That's exactly what I was doing. I was praying. I was praying that God would remove the Young Turks, and so I guess we'll see if he actually exists or not, right? The Young Turks. That is not us by any stretch, no. Anyway, let's get off politics. I don't want to talk about politics. I don't want to do anything that really infers politics or anything like that. So let's just get back into it. I was peeing. That's what you nailed it, Terry. You got it. All right. So getting back into Star Trek and Star Trek Discovery, not including politics at all. Let's break it down. What do you guys further want to talk about it? Because I don't want to get into that. Picard. I don't think the Picard show is going to be all that good, if I have to be honest with you guys. And you know, let me say this. Nice mug. You love the... Yeah, thank you. Do you like this? Look, the thing I love about this mug is that it is hand etched, right? And look at the nice blue color and texture and everything like that. It does really well, if you ask me. So thank you. Thank you for pointing out my mug. It's very well designed. What were we talking? Oh, someone brought up a good show. So all that aside, somebody brought up a good point. Good morning. Somebody, my 4-year-old just woke up. Somebody brought up a good point that perhaps the shows of today can't be what they were, right? I think that may be true, and that's unfortunate if so. You know, I'm gonna have to get off soon because my 3-year-old's awake. What's up, beautiful? We have to buy toys in a minute? Because money's just free? Okay. I'm going to have to, Laughable Larry, go into the Picard show with an open mind. I am going to go into the Picard show with an open mind. I really do hope that it's good. I just have my doubts because you're using the same things from Discovery. Maybe he's going to keep them in line, and I think that'll be awesome if he does. I would love to see the Federation after the Dominion War, and maybe... what would be kind of cool is if they talked about how he wanted the Federation to become explorers again and went into that. I think that could be interesting. Also, I'm going to have to think about that. I think we're going to do a separate video. I forgot who said it, but we're going to have to do a separate video discussing if Trek can be what we want it to be or if it has to change, because that's a really good point. And I'm sorry, whoever said that, I missed who said it. The problem with Discovery, from what I can tell, is not the actors, so bringing in somebody like Patrick Stewart to do a new show isn't necessarily going to fix anything. Well, that's what I agree, Laser Z. That's what I was saying, right? Hey, come here. Oh, no, I've said your name before, so I don't know why I'm scared. Good question. So November 3rd, how much of the donations on November 3rd goes towards the hospital of your choice? I'm using Extra Life. All of them go if you donate to Extra Life. Every penny goes. And then any super chats I get, and all money made, well, all money, super chats and everything made on that day, including any merchandise I make money from that you guys buy, is going to go to it for November 3rd specifically. Red Snowplow, I was thinking of canceling my Patreon because I don't catch many streams, but since you're a man of taste and mugs, I'll continue for now. Oh, man. Well, you know, do Patreon to support me. If you don't get the products you're looking for, then I don't blame you for leaving Patreon. I get it. I'm trying to do these a lot more, but you want to say hi?
Hi.
Say what's going on.
What's going on?
Okay. So we're going to be ending the show, but tell them what's your favorite show.
Okay.
What is your favorite show?
Okay, wait. So, here's the point. You have to wait the toy. Why buy money?
Okay. What's your favorite show?
Oh, we had to buy a remote.
I'm gonna go with Horde Henry. What's your favorite show?
My favorite is it TV show or YouTube show?
TV show.
My favorite TV show is, well, I really like My Little Pony, so that's what I'm gonna have to go with.
There we go. All right, repeat after me. In the end, guys. Repeat after me. In the end, guys.
In the end, guys,
Everybody's life's a story.
we are not stories.
So make yours a good one.
We are not stories.
It shall. Hopefully your blood pressure lowers. I'm gonna go watch some YouTube, so it shall, good buddy. It shall. In the end, all our lives are a story. Make yours a good one. See you guys.